It's a little bit unfair. Like they got a perfect game, looks like an anime, and then he bring up the power of friendship. Like what team can do
Oh,
against
you're
that?
right.
There is a- absolutely nothing. Like it's just like the script in the end.
Oh my god, it's a shonen anime. They didn't even go through the training arc where they get like their asses kicked. They just immediately went to the third act where they are a boss and they're going to unleash their domain expansion upon Russia. That being said, getting to P's and B's here. Let's focus on our underdogs here. Russia, they're flying under the current here. Not a team that's just gotten too much prolific attention. What can they do to smack back?
I think the first thing is to do, even though Kalari is an issue, I don't think Kalari is ever first pick option. I think you always leave that for the later draft part. So I think if you leave it, don't ban that and then ban something strong instead, like Quang, Rampage, or actually just go for the Kalari. I don't want to deal with that, but otherwise you could have left that a bit later because it's hard to pick that because you can kind of get a losing matchup. So I just expect a Rampage or something similar to come out from Germany like last time around. They don't want to deal with champions like that have those long range done, easy to engage, just like easy go buttons.
And I think so here, as Malix was telling, we remove the Rampage. Overall, when you face a team like Russia, like the players, like we have Vsol, Forsyth, Malloy, Vorant, and L. And to be honest, I never have seen those players in tournament before. So naturally, you don't have a lot of data. So you just like draft classic. We remove like the strong character that is easy to play and can also activate easy comp to play. And Rampage is perfect in that situation. And so we're going to go like here for the Zarus first pick. That's exactly what Team Canada has done before, and I think like Germany is completely fine with that from how they played. Let's see if they go for something similar of what they have done before with the Decker and the Quang, but here they're going to secure the Terra because Terra was banned previously, and like we remember, Jan loves the Kalari, but otherwise loves the Terra. So we decide to go into that direction. And also like the Decker was also, in my opinion, to like remove it from Toasty. But here, I don't think it's that priority of a pick. They can try to go for something else, but Llama was super comfortable with it. They probably practice a lot with Rickster. Like we said, like Llama, Rickster is kind of the new dual lane, so probably not have a very deep hero pool together. So just like stick to what works previously, and that's gonna be like what Germany opt for.
Dude, can you imagine Germany on the stun ball comp? If they lock an Argus in, I think I might just put the mic down right off the bat. Zarus is good. Zarus is nice. We need to make sure that, again, you execute on your comp's vision. Richter is a bit of a change of pace from what we saw before. Could be exactly what we need. We've been seeing him appear in the offlane. We've been seeing these tanky, bruisey characters play a bit better up. What do we think about how Russia are going to try to build the rest of their team to step up to the big bad bullies?
I feel like the time I've seen SARS succeed has been when they pair with a mid laner who does a lot of AoE, like Gadget or Gideon. So I hope to pick up then to round out like the first half of the draft here, because otherwise I feel like their comp might just lack that finesse and that damage. As we see, Gadget actually comes out there just to round it out. So I think they have a good solid first pick here. And then on the other side, I would expect that Argus might just be the pickup, or Howard Circus. Once again, the Hazard looks so good on that, so why not go for it again? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And so here we're going to opt for the Drongo, securing the carry before we get into the ban. Probably you can like ban an enemy carry as well, because we already secure our carry. To be honest, like I like the idea of the Howitzer, but I also dislike it because we have a Richter. And in my opinion, Richter is like the big deterrent to Howitzer, while we opt for the Kira ban as we see. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of that Richter being picked that early, because as we can see, we already have a Terra. Terra can ignore a big portion of what Richter is doing thanks to the Unstoppable Force. And Decker also in lane is rocket boots and very evasive for Richter. So, and here we decide to bind the Howitzer. So I think like Russia watched the previous game, they tried to remove like the strong pick. But at the same time, I feel like you already have the Richter. So like for me, Howitzer, you would like TFT to go on the Howitzer in a sense, because it's like very easy to shut down with a Richter. And that would be like maybe catching Germany like off guard because they got overconfident with like this previous Howitzer working so great.
It might be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, which is understandable given what we just saw on the screen. But at the same time, you can't let emotions take hold where logic is necessary for good draft options. Quang is going to be the lock-in here for Germany, as well as the Twin Blast there for Russia. Makes sense. Before we saw it in the last game, picked near the top of the draft, first two picks, this time being locked in at the back half, which is a bit more common. It's good, it's effective, just got to make sure that you're piloting it right. We're starting to see this comp finally take hold. What does Russia need to finally complete their secret weapon?
That is a good question. They could actually opt in for a bit on orthodox comp and go for the get it off lane. I know some people like that, and it could actually help the draft a little bit, but otherwise I think it's just going to be a standard off lane pick here. It might just be some spicy as a damage deal like Bruiser, but it's just going to be the Aurora being picked up. And for the mid lane, I think Kasada is like, he can do whatever he wants. I don't think he really minds, but if they really want to run out their draft here, I feel like a Gideon would be pretty sufficient. You get that True Silver Blaze, and then you can ignore Richter Hook, and you don't really have a threat of being pulled down in your ulti. But we'll see how they are opting for the last pick here.
And so overall, like, we get this idea of the Zarus Aura gadget, and once again, I really feel this Richter is completely out of place in that Russia drive. Probably a comfort pick for their support player as we round up the draft with Gideon on the side of Germany. But like, Richter is a support that really needs the carry to be able to dish out damage when you get that 3-plash. And for me, Richter Twin Blast, it's an absolutely horrible lane. Twin Blast is so weak early levels that your Richter cannot function. And so you can get like out pressure so hard, and we have seen what Germany is able to do when they get out pressure. So overall, I love the draft that Russia was pulling, but this Richter is so out of place that I think it's probably going to be a big weaknesses. But at the same time, it's the only solution they have against the Gideon Black Hole. But I don't think it will be alive once the Black Hole like comes through. So that's going to be rough.
So make sure to see maybe in these team fights where that ends up landing. Will the Black Hole be used at the beginning when Richter's still standing, or maybe when everyone else has already been sent back to hell? Guys, comps are locked, game's nearly set. Comp for comp, who do we favor?
I gotta go with Germany here. I feel like they just got a better draft.
Yeah, I have to go for Germany as well. Very easy to execute. For me, they're still a stronger player, so hopefully it's not as much of a slaughter.
They have wind behind their sails, but Russia's looking to try to sink their ship. Only one way to find out if the underdogs can do it. Tang, F6, take it away.
How is it going, everybody? It's me, F6, joined once again. Cass is back here with the Tang, and he is looking well. I have the shirt, man. How you doing today, man?
Yeah, I mean, definitely after the last game, I'm a bit hyped, right? Because like, maybe you hear it on my accent. Like, I'm not the most American caster, so like with Germany taking the win against Canada, obviously, that is something pleasing to see to me. Now Germany against Russia, I think that is looking at the players themselves. That might not be the most competitive game, but at the same time, Russia, good chance that they will do better than Canada at least.
Will do better. We definitely are going to have to find that out. Looking at the desk, they are favoring Team Germany completely here. And so are the fans, it looks like. Who are you favoring with this team comp and matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think in this matchup, I think we are gonna have to watch the offlane again. Janjan, not on the Kalari this time. Instead, we have the Terra pick up instead. Kalari was banned in the first rotation, but I think the offlane is sort of the lane where you can expose differences in skill the easiest. It is sort of the solo lane. It is a lane that can snowball super hard. So if the side of Russia is not careful on that Aurora, you really don't want to see that guy run away with the game again.
You do not, indeed. One of those characters that the ultimate is just a huge impact into those team fights, and allowing for the Aurora to rotate just causes so much commotion. We saw yesterday how Ko was able to kind of stick Tekken Kid when he's playing Aurora inside that offlane, not allowing her to rotate, allowing for his team to actually play that game, that picking those 4v4 fights. So if we can see that happen again, I'm sure Gen has the power capability to do so and be the one to be rotating. So we're going to have to definitely see how that plays out.
Definitely will. Now we see a bit of a slower early game. No shenanigans happening. No invades into either of those jungles. We see very conservative wards coming out from Russia inside of their own red side jungle where the Lazarus starts himself. So that ward is just going to expire without doing much. And I think that might already be a bit of a problem because those wards are going to be needed in that mid lane towards maybe his own blue side if Venom decides to go vertical.
Venom played an exceptional game. The entire team Germany, we talked about, we've seen it, and we're expecting the same thing here. But with Jen being on this Terra, though, it's going to be a little bit different. Not able to really be going invisible like the Kalari. We know he does. This is his secondary character, the Terra. We know she does a lot of damage, but is the impact going to be useful if she's not able to really rotate throughout the duel lane and hold the mid to late game? Or she's just going to try and probably just stick, like we talked about, just keep that Aurora inside that offlane?
I think it's more of a matchup where she just wins lane and then you just keep on pressuring the lane. But talking about that, I think Mugi is sort of seeing into the future, because he realized immediately with that Richter pickup on the dual lane together with the Twin Blast, they are just going to lose all those trades, and that already transitions into a Blink being forced out of the Richter before 3 minutes.
That's going to be rough, because a Richter a lot of times is not... He has the extra movement speed, but does not have the mobility and needs to use the blink to really get out of those spots. But we see, hey, trying to get a little bit of pressure inside of this dual lane to give them a little bit of a help. But it looks like he's just going to take the bad end of this trade as the containment defense blocks any type of aggression, and then to return fire that stasis ball and damage.
Yeah, they are gonna stay safe. No mid lane. Assad and Malloy next are gonna fight a tiny bit. River buffs are up, still haven't been claimed on the right hand side, but Assad just wants to get the wave crashed in before he goes for that river. Now Gadget forced to actually look back into a turret, because that is where those minions are. Gonna get 1 HP, might fall. Assad gets the first blood.
The first blood knocking right down that front door. Team Germany gold here, just taking this game off to a hot start. Another gank coming out of there, out from the jungle, and it's Quang once again applying just such amount of just force throughout there, as now you see him immediately rotate over towards that dual lane to potentially pick somebody off, but that ward was able to thwart that out.
Yeah, now that we have a bit of breathing room, we can mention again, this time it is actually not Venom in the jungle. We do have Llama swap over. We know Llama is good on all 3 roles that he needs to play, support jungle and offlane, with offlane being his most favorite one. Now dual lane again, Richter, no blink, Llama is there.
And he's just going to be just pulled away, and it's going to be picked apart. The re-gank able to get the 2 kills over towards Germany now within less than 5 minutes, and they just completely, once again, off to a hot start.
Definitely are punishing those blink timers that are not available. That is exactly what you should do. And while we watch the dual lane on the left hand side, we do see in the mid lane now Hoppe looking for Terra Seed, but he is just so safe as the Gideon. It's just gonna be impossible for the Ceres to actually gap close. It's just gonna throw a Spear of Near out of frustration, but in the off lane, Jan gets the solo kill.
With a tower dive. Oh man, Jan exceptionally well as well. We're talking about this mid lane. We see this matchup time and time again. The Gadget versus a Gideon, and nobody ever really has a clear choice on who wins this matchup. But hey, actually looking to try and get something over in the duo. Not going to be able to get anything. That mobility coming out with the Decker, and look at this stasis ball forces the blink on Hay, and he has to get out of here. But Assad with the pickup in the mid with the solo bolo.
Yeah, Russia doing their best Canada cosplay right now. 4-0 already for Germany gold. And yeah, they're just on a roll. Mid lane, Assad winning the mid lane matchup, and then on the dual lane in a 2 versus 3, they get the blink out of the Ceres, win that fight. And especially considering that Matsboy, not actually on the starting roster, registered as one of the substitute players, is gonna make it work on that Drongo hero. So you can see the Germany roster not only strong in their strongest players, but also strong in the depth of their sort of player pool.
I mean, Matt Boy, we've seen him playing a lot of these competitive tournaments, playing Booth, one of the main ones. He is a great player. And I mean, this has to go, like you said, into the Germany's depth, right? They're able to pull from their substitutes to really get into this game. And he's playing exceptionally well going into there. But with that T1 gank, though, a little bit questionable coming out from the side of Russia. You kind of see the newer kind of competitive play coming out of them there. And their experience is not as much as this Team Germany.
Definitely aren't. We saw Llama, Acid, all of them, we saw them before, but Malloy, we only saw him get farmed in the mid lane. Acid takes that one again, but yeah, as you were highlighting, F6, none of these players have really participated in many of those other competitive tournaments, so they are fighting an uphill battle, but big props to them because they are fighting. We can see them not just giving up, we can see the Saras trying to make those plays over and over again. If they work out, haven't so far.
Not so far just quite yet. We're still waiting on that level 6 spike coming out of Team Russia. We talked about how they're able to just use that Coliseum to maybe lock down this dual lane. We've seen him time and time again, hey, already look over there. So maybe when that level 6 hits, that Coliseum is ready, he can really start to pressure them out. And maybe a hook lands. That's really a huge tool to really put anybody out of position.
Definitely is, but it just has to connect that Richter hook, just not an easy ability to hit. Now Hoppe is gonna say, hey, I'm out of here, the red side jungle, you can have it, Quang. I am too weak to contest it, only level 5 to the level 6 of the Quang. Still a lot of pressure on the left hand side. Acid also making the rotation.
Looking for anything possible here. Now to 4v3. The stun ball hits. The rock lands. Now Richter without no flash, no health bar is gonna go down as well. And for Red just has to retreat to his tier 1. And this will open up that Fangtooth.
That's one of the strengths that you always have as the Gideon in the mid lane. You highlighted the Gadget-Gideon matchup in the mid lane before, and I think one sort of important feature for Gideon is that his rotations are just so fast. With the torn space, able to impact those side lanes pretty fast, while also being able to clear those waves almost in an instant. And we can see there, Gadget not having the sort of time to make those rotations over, gives them not only 2 kills on the left-hand side, but also the first Fangtooth of the game.
Slowly stacking up to that late game count. We know they were able to get the 3rd Fangtooth bonus last game. It didn't really have a factor to really do how they won that game because they completely dominated. And here we're kind of seeing that start again. Is there anything that Team Russia is going to be able to do leading towards this mid to late game to really get themselves into a position to maybe hold on a little bit longer or put up a better fight towards this late game?
I think the only thing they can really hope for is something that you did say before, F6, is to just have that Richter get a good pick with his hook. Just isolates one of the enemy carries and then try to burst him down using that skewer, using that rip lash as well. But just looking at the tab screen, it's going to be worse and worse the longer it goes on. Gadget in the mid lane, again in a bad spot, is going to drop the microwave, but she is the only thing that is being cooked there in the mid lane. Acid gets another one.
And Jan, the amount of pressure he's allowed to facilitate for his team throughout the map. He's winning the off lane once again, now able to put that just kind of deficit that he has over there and just push it towards the side of the mid lane. We already know Malloy's already getting a lot of pressure there from the Quang, getting rotated on, is not allowed to do anything with the Gideon there. And man, he's just not able to do what he needs to do. Maybe once he gets a couple items online, maybe to that mid game, maybe that Coliseum combo with the Richter Riplash, we have to wait to see it. Meanwhile, Assad is going to be able to use that pressure inside the mid lane to go in and contest the red side river buff over Titan, and going to be pushed up here with Matt Boy. Maybe this is going to be the time. Level 6 is here. Riplash misses, but here comes that Coliseum, and the Flash Mip was able to escape, and hey, it's the one on the back foot.
And in the mid lane, though, the Gadget is getting pressured again instead. Has to back inside of her own turret. Did see that, but all in all, Shrapnel Cannon used by Matsboy also blinked away, but the Saras had to do the same. So all in all, just an exchange of resources. But all in all, it's also Germany not having as many players on the left-hand side means they can start up that right side a mini prime 3 members to 2. Aurora and Gadget, no smites close by. They're gonna have to give that one. Is gonna get picked up by Janjan.
Easy pickup there. The second neutral objective of the game, ladies and gentlemen, picked up by Team Germany. They have a Fangtooth. They have the mini orb prime. Did not see exactly who that got him, but look over to this dude. Oh. They finally pick up Metboy, and now the chase is on. The flash for Flash. One more hit. The barrage. Going to be able to clean up, but that's 2 kills over to Team Russia.
And that's how you come back. Make sure that your TV gets fed, and then he will chew through the enemy lines. Acid in the mid lane, low HP. Sarah's no cage, no ultimate, no gap closer. So Acid is going to be able to escape. But we can see Russia, they do have teeth, they do fight. They are going to get at least 2 kills in that dual lane with Richter being the difference maker, landing that Whiplash onto that Drongo.
It was a huge flash for Flash. They're committing towards the bit. He knew he just needed to get the Decker down low enough for the Ventilate to just pop off there. And he's just doing an amazing job, just being able to use the ulti to be able to just knock him down to the last bit of health. But here comes that resurgence of force. Llama looking to get something here. Stasis Ball misses though, so anything's going to be potential. It's not going to come out.
And Sarah's fighting Llama. Sarah's no blink up, might be caught in a bad spot. Llama is going to use the E to get the gap close with that surge. Now Richter hooks Llama, but is that really what he wants? Has to escape under turret. But Tutankhamun and Matsboy already shoving in the wave, and Richter might just be caught in a bad spot.
Definitely in a bad spot, but look at the Gideon. The seed is going to be kind of rocking the hard place, but here's Jan with the knockup. If the flick is forced out, but the flash for Flash and the Comet hits, and that's going to be a pickup in the middle lane. But look at Mattboy trying to force this fight. 1 HP in a dream. Can Valorant going to be able to get it? One more hit. Here it is. And Russia still has some fight left in them.
And Vorant gets the outplay in the 1 versus 2, gets the kill onto Mattboy as well. Tutankhamun can just only watch with the Ventilate going through his own body. Mid lane Acid might be in a bad spot. The teleports can be followed by Hoppe. Is not going to be there in time though. And now Jan making the rotation over. Black Hole through the wall is going to get the outplay onto the Seraph.
Unlucky on Fortnite, the wall, the play, the IQ coming out of the seat there, being able to use that to his advantage, and Jan with that rotation. What a play coming out of Team Germany to stop that kill. But look at the rotation, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the mid here. Varant and the Richter are out of position, but here's that Aurora able to rotate away from that off lane, might be able to help out and potentially saving the life of Varant. The blast flowers down, but the Whiplash hits, but Jan is immediately following up. He does have the forward dash and cleans it on up with the axe, and here comes that guy to test the dome. It's Bob Skewer in the back line. Can he save? No, it's not. The HP bars are going down low. Let's see with the rotation. One more member down.
And Saras, meanwhile, on the other side of the map, got the 4 camp and the blue buff. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit rough. 4 kills going over to Germany again. 17-3, the scoreline. While it isn't as clean as the previous game, still all objectives claimed by the mini prime secured. So is the second Fangtooth of the game now for themselves. With that one, I'm expecting Matsboy and Tutankhamun on the left-hand side to get that tier 1 tower. The last tier 1 tower standing for the side of Russia. And with those structures falling, F6, the map is going to get smaller and smaller for Russia to operate in. It's going to mean that Llama is able to invade those jungle camps easier. It's going to mean that those wards coming out might be a big problem. But again, Matsboy in a bad spot.
The bad spot, but a lot of resources have already been spent. There goes that shrapnel blast, but the hook is not gonna be able to land because the Liberator's here, but so is Hay. The blast fire hits, but Mattboy drops back down in towards the Zords, and he looks to be dead to rights here. One more auto, and there it is. Russia able to pick up a kill, but look at the seed in the back line and looking over at that Richter, but look at this rotation. The black hole hits. Varant, the Epoch. Can they clean up a seed here? No. Oh my goodness, the trade. And now it's, hey, goodbye, see you later. Malloy is next because Stasis Ball hits, the tether hits, the knockup lands, and goodbye, see you later.
And this time it's not only 4, we make it 5 instead. Full ace across the map. Jan pushing down the tier 2 tower on the right hand side, and all of it started off with the dual lane of Germany being a bit overexposed on the left hand side. Good catch happening by that Saras, and the Richter able to lock down Matsboy long enough to get that kill. But honestly, getting 1 kill is probably worse than getting 5 kills. I didn't listen too much in math class, but that is something I remembered for sure. One number is bigger than the other, and I think Germany knows it as well. 16 minutes in, 22 kills.
Definitely playing their style here. Germany off to another great start. Definitely needs to be considered possibly to be an S tier team next time around, because the way they start off this group stage, they are super hot fire. But still, nonetheless, we have the late game to talk about. Still, there's still a chance. We know these big neutral objectives at any point can turn the tides. Even with a team with a huge advantage, it could really slip into anybody's favor. If they're able to get that 50-50 smite off, able to win one big team fight, is that a possibility, Tang?
It has to be, because otherwise we can just FF, and that is what Malloy wants to do in the mid lane, because he gets killed again by the Gideon, and so does the Ceres, collected by Janjan. Those objectives being stolen away just looks like a pipe dream at this point, with structures falling left, right, and center with that tier 2 falling. It's going to mean that Germany is going to be in prime position to take that mini objective on that right-hand side as well.
All 4 objectives going towards the side of Team Germany. Absolute plays being made. We talked about their experience beforehand. You are seeing it here again, ladies and gents. 17 minutes in, controlling the entire map, pushing out the T1s already, opening up the middle as well, pushing that T2 back. We talked about it a little bit before. Opening this map up allows for them just to get these invade off. Are we going to be seeing some defensive wars pop out here? What can they really pop out on the side? We talked about already, they need to come back to maybe potentially win a fight, but they're going to need to be able to sort of get into that position in the first place. And right now, it's just not looking too good for them.
I think it's just mainly with them being behind, them not having the tanky stats to be able to face check it, just means that it's so hard to walk into their own jungle, and Gadget in the mid lane again, just getting jumped on by Arseed with the torn space, just so much mobility on the Gideon, able to keep on farming that poor Gadget that is just not able to do anything against it. Now 4 members of Germany in the mid lane with that mini prime on themselves, looking to not only get that Ceres kill that just looks in desperation, but also aims to get that in hit.
Hey, there's nothing that Team Russia can really do right now. They're just completely behind. They have the mini orb prime. They're able to push down an inhibitor at 18 minutes and 48 seconds and now turn their attention over towards this dual lane inhibitor. And look at the damage. Look at Varant being put back towards the base, and Russia's underneath their core, cannot enter back with 2 members down. And still, we have another minute to go before we even see the potential of the big orb prime. And maybe with this next wave, might be able to push in here as we see the black hole. There's that initiation. There's that fight, the Colosseum to react, but the health bar is dropping, and there's nothing that they can do. And this might be it. Malloy has to blink and actually saves himself, but the core is ticking away. 3 minions left, not a lot of HP. The mini orb prime is there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be game number 2 going towards Team Germany as they are starting this group stage off hot.
Yeah, what a bang. Within 19.5 minutes, they secure the core. One thing, F6, yeah, at the end, I really want to highlight as well, something you guys can abuse in your games as well, is dropping those wards under the core, because that is going to mean that the core is going to split the damage up with more players. So that means that you are going to be able to survive longer. We saw right there, like 4 wards dropped. I think that was the difference maker, why the wave actually survived until the very end. And Germany was able to end the game before it was even that big prime spawn happening. So 19.5 minutes, only needing the mini prime to close out the second game of the groups.
Very fast finish indeed, an exceptional match. Germany playing out of their minds right now. They are in the lead for this group stage going so forth. They're going to be an unstoppable force. They're going to be somebody to be watching out for, like we already saw in the desk. We know Toasty said he needs to watch out for Team USA, but Team
definitely is. Like Germany coming out with a bang, winning the first game against Canada, honestly, was pretty stompy. Second game, also pretty stompy. Next game that we are going to see on stream is going to be the Netherlands game against Germany. And I think that will be a banger. I'm really hoping so, because we were hoping for Germany to struggle a tiny bit against Canada as well, but they just wouldn't be stopped. But this time, hopefully against Netherlands, we are going to see a bit more of a competitive game.
Hopefully so. Another competitive team. This is a sleeper team that we're going to be seeing up next, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, we're going to pass it back off to the desk, see what they have to say, take a short break. See you guys later.
Thank you, F6 and Tang, for your lovely casting works. Guys, Blitzkrieg, it's back. It's rough. It's dangerous. It's Operation Barbarossa, but this time they're doing it in summer, so they're not going to get cold and shaken in their boots. Instead, anyone who goes up against Germany Gold will be doing so. Malix, Mugi, our thoughts.
I just feel like Germany got on a bullet train for that first seed position there, because like they had just been slaughtering nonstop, and for the first part of the game, or like first like with 10 minutes, like looking like a repeat of the first Canadian game. Russia did show a bit of life on that dual lane, catching a bit of kills, but all in all, like Germany was just in the driver's seat the entire time, and then they were just like such a beauty to watch them play, because it's phenomenal gameplay all around.
And I think like there is like two things that could be like taken out of that match. It's overall, I feel like there was like some player differences when we see like the result of like the mid lane, the jungle, and the off lane. But to the credit to Team Russia, I feel like in dual lane, there was actually like some glimmer of hope and the differences wasn't too much. But when all the rest of the map collapsed, like when TSC is 13-1 and 6, you have Llama 6-0 and 12, and also like Janjan 8-0 and 4, like there is not much you can do. But also the other point, I think like in Team Germany, is I feel like when Big Daddy Van is not here, like it looked like a little bit of Clown Fiesta, to be honest. Like they were taking like not so smart fight. They were just like flexing a bit too much, and they didn't take fully the match like as clean as they should be. And I think that explained like a portion of their death. So maybe like here nobody was there to keep TSC on the leash, and everyone just like get transformed by like his energy, and they just like decided like, oh, let's go home.
When you let the dog off the leash, they might bite the wrong kid. You don't want to get put down for it. So far, they're still going strong. They're looking like a pit bull named Princess, and anyone, God help them, who stands in the way of their fangs. Looking at the standings here, man, Germany Gold just golden. Absolutely pristine, and looking to try to drop nary a single game. I'm just not sure what can stop that momentum. Once you have two games like that behind you, what's even better to have happen to you? Would you rather have a 19-minute game where you get 5 kills off, or a 24-minute game where you don't even get anything for your blood ledger? They're both so demoralizing.
I mean, at this point, I'd probably take the game where at least I get some kills. Like, yeah, I have something to show for it. It's like one of those consolation prize, but just show it off. It's not a whole lot, but it's something, right? But maybe they can take what they like. See if they can find some weaknesses they had in this game, and then apply it to the next game, and then maybe they can pick up a win. But I think even if they do, Russia, I suppose, is already out, because Germany has 2 wins, and then whoever wins the next series is, unless Netherlands loses the next series, then we're gonna have a tiebreaker for, I think, Canada and Netherlands.
Well, it's actually interesting because in that group, from how it's set up, like anyone still has a chance. Like if Russia beats Canada in the last match and Germany Gold like beats Netherlands, then we have a tiebreaker with 3 teams at 1. But also, if this next match Netherlands actually beat Germany Gold, well, like we cannot believe that Canada can beat Russia. But who knows, because like apparently from the score against Germany, Black Russia is better than Canada. Then we have 3 teams at 2-0, like at 2 wins. So that's also like a tiebreaker with 3 teams. So still like everything is up for the taking for every single team in that group. Netherlands lost to Canada, while Germany Gold like absolutely destroyed Canada. So they kind of come into that match with like the favorite can cap. But if Netherlands want to have a shot, like they need to win the next match. And once again, like it's not going to be easy, especially since I believe Germany Gold is going to bring like the A team again, like now that they have paid the sub tax. And that's not going to be easy for Netherlands.
It's an uphill mountain they have to face. My suggestion, grab a pair of pliers, stroll on over to the players in Germany, cut their routers. Might just be the way that you've got a good entry on in. But there's only one way to find out how it all shakes up. Next game, Netherlands versus Germany Gold. Will they fall or will they retain their crown? Don't go anywhere. We've got a break.